Learn to ride the rollers, the setup with Emma Marinin. Okay, so you've got rollers and you're ready to start doing roller training. First, a few things that I think are really important to take care of. The first is whenever I'm going to put my bike on my rollers, I really want to protect those roller drums. They're expensive and we want them smooth and slick. So I always take a little rubbing alcohol and wipe down all the surface on the front of my tires. So I just have in my little shed where I do a lot of my trainer workouts a whole bunch of little disposable alcohol prep pads. And I'll just break one out and then really quickly run it through. This bike this time of year isn't going anywhere but on the roller, so my alcohol pad doesn't really get all that dirty, but just making sure that whole surface is clean. And I usually use one of these on each of my wheels, on the front and then a different one on the rear, and then I'm ready to put my bike up on the rollers. So the next thing is making sure that your rollers are actually adjusted correctly for your bike. If you have your bike on the rollers and your front tire is either too far forward or too far back of this front drum, it makes it really challenging to ride the bike. If the drum is a little too far forward, so that means your wheel is sitting back a little bit of that front drum, it's really hard to get momentum going and you always feel like you're fighting an uphill battle. If on the other case, the wheel is too far forward of the drum, your bike is always wanting to actually go off the front of the rollers, and it makes the bike just even more squirrely to handle on the rollers than not. So what I do is I take a look at my bike from the side, and I want to make sure that the axle of my bike is over the apex of the drum or pretty close to it. Everybody's rollers has a little bit of different fine tuning. Mine are pretty old school, so I probably only have about an inch adjustment. So as long as I'm within less than an inch of the apex, I know that I'm in the right position on these rollers. So let me show you what that looks like from the side, and then I'm going to show you some of the toys that I have that I like in my easy reach zone to be able to have success doing a workout on the rollers. Okay, so there it is. You can see that my front axle is over the apex of my front drum. Perfect spacing. It might be a little millimeter or two back, but that's okay as long as it's not significantly more ahead or more behind of that drum. You're in a good place. Okay, here is my shelf by my rollers in my little workout space. So some of the things that I think are really important for doing a workout is a fan that you can aim at yourself. If you have it really coming at you front on, it's like a bit of like riding into a cool headwind, and it not only keeps you cool, but it kind of stimulates you to go a little harder, which I really like. Next to that, I have my little alcohol pads that I just leave out here so I can wipe down my tires before I throw my bike on the roller. I've got something to contain my hair. My hair is really short, so just a headband works great, but definitely having like hair ties or something is really helpful. I have my headphones. I always want to listen to good tunes. I have a few snacks around for me. I generally try to eat about 200 calories an hour when I'm on the rollers. I've also got 2 water bottles available for me. They both have Goo Hydrate mix in them. I sweat so much and I lose a lot of electrolytes that I've found that's really important. I always have a towel to mop myself up during my workout. And then behind that, I've got some bike soap there. I always wipe down my bike when I'm done with my roller workout because all that sweat is pretty corrosive and can do some pretty unfortunate things to the headset of your bike. Right.
So I'm getting ready to hop on my rollers. I've got my Wahoo all loaded up. And the last thing that I'm going to want to make sure I do, and no matter what your training system is, you're always going to want to make sure that you calibrate your power meter. So if you have one, whatever that looks like, make sure you come in. I'm on Veruca, and I'm just going to make sure she's nice and calibrated. This bike's Veruca. She's blue. Yep, and I'm all calibrated. Everything looks good. Now I'm ready for my workout.